Good evening. We do have a member of the Minister Alliance with us this evening. Mike, would you please come forward?
Let's pray. Father, we thank you and praise you for your goodness. God, we thank you for your wisdom and your counsel. God, I pray that in this room when decisions are made, God, I pray that you give us wise counsel, give us wisdom to know what to do. God, I pray that you guide our decisions, guide our hearts. God, we love you. We praise you for everything. I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just messed me up.
I did?
Yeah, you said indivisibly. I was like, blah, blah.
I call the October 2nd, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pam Pope,
Here.
Jim Shroud,
Here.
Jeremy Taylor,
Here.
Rachel Kilmer,
Here.
Tracy Newcomer,
Here.
Kelly Netto,
Here.
and Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business, deletions, or continuances. We do not have any of those this evening, so we will move on to public comments. We have one public comment. Citizens make public comments that are not on the agenda that take up to 2 minutes per person. Please come forward at this time, Jill. State your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
My home address?
Yes, right? Yeah.
I'm Jill Easley. Home address is, oh no, wait. 6520 Southwest Cemetery Road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, I am Jill and I, own Rustic Lessons in downtown. And, I've actually been downtown for 7 years and in my current place for over 4 years. So my, worry is, parking. And, it would be wonderful if we could have a timed parking, like 2-hour parking or something through the week. There are 4 retail businesses that rely on walk-ins, and so it would be nice for those parking spaces to be open and not used by owners of other businesses that do not rely on walk-ins. There are 3 that I know of daily, Monday through Friday, that are taken up, and completely block off one retail business, so you really can't barely see her. So, I think I wrote down, so I had spoke to another owner and she said that, you know, she would be the one to really worry just because she does hair and sometimes hair appointments go over the 2 hours, but she said she would absolutely tell them to park in the back since we have beautiful parking lot in the back.
Mhm.
It would also be lovely to maybe, I know that you guys put some signs up on the north and east, or north and south side of, Broadway, I guess, what is that, 12th Street?
Oh, that tells where public parking is.
Parking is.
Correct,
So
yes.
it would be awesome if we could have some signs that were maybe, on the light post or something like that, just to alert people that if those parking spots are taken, then, there is parking in the back.
You mean some type of sign that says parking in the rear
Yes.
of the building or
Yes,
something like?
parking, public parking, yeah. And I have had plenty of customers say that they're so scared to parallel park, especially, you know, if they can't just pull up.
Yeah.
So it does make it difficult. So
Can we ask questions or no?
It's really just time for public comment, but can they ask a question, Chris?
That's up to the board.
Yeah, then it's up to you guys. Yeah, because I can. But yes, it's up to you. Do you all want to open discussion and talk about this? So if you do, then we can open discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Do they need to make any type of motion to open it?
No, it's more of an issue of not engaging in a discussion where you end up taking some action on an item that was not on the agenda, because others might have
That makes sense.
come to the meeting had they seen it on the agenda. But just honestly, just asking a question or two is not a
Okay,
big deal.
thanks, Chris. All right, go, Kelly.
I'm just wondering, is this something that has just recently become problematic, or it's been like the whole time you've been in
Yes,
there?
and I've reached out a couple times to one particular owner.
Well, not.
She's got a rear entrance too that she can use, unfortunately, so. I was so happy to see those 2 parking spots actually made out in front of you. So people know that they actually can park there, so, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. Jill, do you think that there needs to be a time limit, or has there been any discussion about it just saying for customer parking only, downtown customers only?
I mean, again, I've talked to the one owner and I've mentioned that because she is a retail business, but she mainly has her retail online. And so she doesn't, have to worry about people coming in. And, so I think it really needs to be kind of, and there's obviously one more person that's not retail. So I think, I mean, like a 2-hour limit.
Yeah, I don't know how they would like patrol that either. Like
Yeah.
a time limit, you can drive by and see that the car was there for more than 2 hours versus like we don't know whose car belongs to who and who's the owner and who's a customer. I don't know.
I mean, it would, if it was just posted on there or something, I guess possibly customers only, that might make it aware to those, because really it's just these people that take up several spots. So, if it just said customers only, I'm sure that would be a little nice to everybody else.
It'd probably be, yeah, but that's something that we could lead staff to direct. and go from there. Okay. I think so.
Any other questions for Jill? Okay, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out,
Yes.
Jill.
Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the board, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the September 5th, 2023 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes and expenditures through September 28th, 2023.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any of that this evening, so we will move on to new business. The first item is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a special event permit submitted by Royer Funeral Home for a remembrance tree lighting ceremony on December 8th, 2023. And we have Chris here tonight from Royer Funeral Home for a presentation. Hello, Chris. No, you're good. You're from Royer Funeral Home.
All right, so, first of all, I'd just like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to, come forward and speak about this. I had met prior with Dana, about just some questions we had and what needed to be done. So, we are planning, if it is approved, to do a Royers Remembrance Tree Ceremony. We would like this to become an annual event. We're also considering, depending upon the success of this, doing one at our Grand Valley location as well. And this is mainly to kind of re-engage with the community. This community has been, very good to us, my family, over the last 65 years. And we just want to re-engage with them and give back. And so the thought behind this was to help people to, celebrate the holiday season, but also to take the time to remember the loved ones that have passed on. And so we would like to have a tree. Initially, we thought it might be best to have it on the side of the funeral home where it could be seen, but I think after some consideration, we've decided it would probably be placed in the front yard on 15th Street's probably a better idea. We would have some vendors come in. We'd like to have, somebody be able to supply, coffee or hot chocolate, things like that. We'd also like to get the school involved, if possible, and maybe have some members of the choir come and sing a carol or something like that, possibly the band as well. just try and get everybody engaged in it. There will also be a time for people to decorate an ornament to be placed on that tree, and then that would remain up through the holiday season, and most likely just after the first of the year, all of that would come back down. We are planning other events. It wouldn't necessarily be a special event like this, it'd be more in the funeral home, seminars, things like that, that we're trying to get a program started, but we want to start it off with this. So I just appreciate you all listening to what I had to say, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you, Chris. You just stay right there, if anybody has any questions.
So have you talked to any of the other parties? You mentioned this band or this, schools or anything, or?
We've reached out, but we haven't thoroughly gone through everybody until we kind of knew if we could do this or not. I talked to Randy McLean. Randy said he would be more than happy to kind of be the middle person as far as the school goes, getting engaged with Mrs. Shoup and Mr. Long. We'd like to also include some of the pastors from Oak Grove to be part of, the service as well, so that we haven't gone much past just getting the concept of it.
This stuff.
Now I'm here.
Sure. Is the city Christmas thing on the
It's
night?
the weekend before.
The before.
They purposely asked that. They
Okay.
didn't want to do it the same night.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The main thing was not to interfere with anything that the city does.
Okay.
So I think we're following Friday after.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love this idea, and I think it's really a cool event you guys are trying to do here. The only question that I really have is the closing down the street. And I know you're right now at your first step to, don't want to do a whole bunch of planning and then us turn you down. So I'm assuming you haven't talked to the police yet?
I have not.
Okay,
No.
and that's fine. My question would be then, if that is unable to be done, can you make this work without that street being closed?
I think it would be
Difficult?
difficult with it being open, just for the simple fact if we're gonna have
Safety?
some of the vendors set up in a, a tent or something where people can decorate the ornaments, say, in the parking lot, and then crossing back over, or, having enough room for everybody. We don't have any way to gauge the size.
Right.
Being the first event, it could be 50 people, it could be 100, we have no idea. So,
Okay.
one consideration was reaching out to Brandon with Paradise Outfitters and seeing if he would allow people to park in the parking lot, but then you have the built-in crossing. I also would reach out to Tracy at the Methodist Church. There's plenty of parking. Walking half a block, so that's another solution. But I think having people be able to have the road open and drive on 15th Street would probably go to them.
Right, understood. Okay. Chief, do you have any initial thoughts on this?
Ashley had actually reached out to me while I was out of the office last week with an email. As the police department whole, we would support it 100%. There are the concerns. I do not believe closing 15th would cause us any heartache. It's a small,
Yeah.
one-block area. It would shut off the parking lot there. There wouldn't be a way to really have anyone pull into the parking lot on 15th. So yes, we would have to have secondary parking, and not so much the roads. It would probably need to be church parking lots, because my concern would be, we're talking the older part of town where the roads are 12 feet narrow as it is.
Right.
So that would be that concern. And then we have the crosswalks there, but we may need to ask for some additional lighting there to make sure that it's properly marked. But we would support it by all
But there's
means.
a way we could probably get this done.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Perfect. Thank you so much.
So 4 to 8 would be the event, so would you close down the street earlier than that?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that we would just have to have, Ashley, I've hired Ashley to be the community engagement liaison, and we're gonna work on an aftercare program as well, so she's heading all that up. And she has talked with the different people, sent out invitations, things like that. So I think she would be the one to really know the ins and the outs of having somebody that she's reached out to somebody that has a food truck with basically coffee or hot chocolate. So getting them into the parking lot, being able to set up ahead of time. So we probably wouldn't need a huge lead time on getting it shut down. So maybe if she's got it, say, she has a 4:45 is when we're starting.
Oh, okay.
So maybe shutting down at 4
Okay.
would be appropriate.
Okay.
Basically just 15th Street, Broadway to 15th Austin, just enough to be able to get around there if somebody had to.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking of after school, because that's a straight shot to the high school, right? Back parking lot? Or am I on the wrong street?
You're on the wrong side.
16th Street is the straight shot, okay.
Straight shot to the bus barn.
Okay, okay, yeah. Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the special event permit contingent upon working with the police department and everything to make sure it's safely secured and done. And even changing your permit to open 3 o'clock if you guys need that extra hour to 8.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the special event permit for Royer Funeral Home. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
We look forward to the event. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding bike trail resurfacing project. Scott?
Yes, so through the tennis court project, there was a $45,540 remaining balance that was available in capital funds for additional project. When we were doing the grant work, we had looked at the bike trail, Caraway Lake, a trail around there, so we had the numbers. Those projects didn't fit into the grant. And then there was, through some discussion, we thought possibly the board may want to consider resurfacing the bike trail. One thing I failed to include in here was a contingency that would cover any bonds and any shortage of asphalt because it is a quantitative measurement. But McConnell's very confident in their estimate to be a 2-inch hard pack compacted overlay of the bike trail. But that 5% contingency would cover a performance bond and anything else that the city would be requesting. So the total project cost with the 5% contingency would be $61,142.55. That would require, of the remaining balance, an additional $15,602.55 to come from the capital outlay fund. The last time I believe the bike trail was paved was about 20 years ago.
Yeah. Would that include fixing the drainage where the pipes are exposed on Salem?
If we want to do any type of drainage, we would have to do that in-house prior to.
Prior
This
to.
is just a 2-inch overlay over the existing project.
Okay. We would probably do that, though, right? You want to fix that because those pipes are exposed?
It's
Or I guess that would have to be voted on. Or that's just in-house maintenance. That's because that's drainage that goes under the bike trail.
yeah, that was.
You guys know what I'm talking about? If you're walking the bike trail and you're leaving the school and you're headed south toward, the other side of town, there's a drainage ditch that goes underneath the road, and then the pipes are exposed. You can see the white PVC pipes. They've come up through the bike trail.
I'm sorry. I
So
don't know what
kids,
By the T-ball field?
just, where I live, it's right out my garage door to the
Oh,
right.
okay.
Tracy's seen it, she's nodding her head, right? When you've walked on it, and so you could trip on them, they're a hazard. You've seen them, right?
Yeah, so.
3 pipes.
Yeah, the parks maintenance staff has patched that.
Yeah.
But there's still some areas of issue, and the 2-inch overlay should cover that fairly well.
Perfect.
In the short term, and perhaps would last another 20 years. Some of the issues with the drainage there is once it goes beyond the bike trail and goes onto the school property, that really needs to be regraded down towards the pond.
And
that's-
they've been notified
Yeah.
to extend that. So if the fence stops it and what he's talking about, and the school's been notified to extend it on, but we need to fix our part first. So I was just double checking.
And I would like to add that originally that bike trail did not have a drainage pipe underneath it. So I think about 10 years ago, Public Works put those 3 pipes in. And we may extend those pipes so they're farther away,
Okay.
and then it could slope a little more possibly. But we could certainly work with Public Works or look at, after this overlay is completed, to then continue to look at that issue.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that.
What is a normal lifespan for an overlay?
So honestly, Corey could probably answer this question better than I can. What I do know is that 20 years ago, the asphalt that went on bike trail was much better than the asphalt today that's being placed on, down, so there's less oil in it. So I would not, as far as the surface itself, it's drying out. It's not caving, it's not falling apart, so the base is good. It's literally just the asphalt is just old.
Okay. So, but we wouldn't expect 20 years out of this one necessarily.
I do not believe we would get 20 years. We do plow the bike trail, which helps increase the life expectancy of it, and it helps the kids get to school.
Any other questions from the board?
I make a motion, we approve the bike trail resurfacing project.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request regarding resurfacing the bike trail project. Any
Would that include the 5% contingency? that-
Oh, yes.
Yes, with the 5% contingency, yes.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding Public Works purchasing a used vehicle from public market. Corey?
Thank you. As you may be aware, City Truck 115 was involved in an accident back in August. It was actually the truck that I was driving. The insurance had deemed it a total loss, just due to the nature of the accident and the damages that occurred. We looked at purchasing or getting some bids on some new vehicles. And the cost, not only the cost, but the weight on them is 6 months plus. So the other option was to look at purchasing a used vehicle. We found some, what we believe to be pretty good buys out on the public market. It's a substantial cost savings and kind of get us right back to where we were as far as mileage and year of vehicle and things to that nature. It don't plow snow. That vehicle does not plow snow, so we won't have to worry about it being equipped with a plow or anything like that. Just outfitting it with some emergency lights and things to that nature will be about it. So after the insurance payment that was due, made to the city, it was $30,626.20. That's what they paid for that vehicle of City Truck 115. With what we are seeing on the market, we are kind of projecting somewhere around $39,000 total, and that would make the difference of $8,373 roughly to purchase and outfit it with lights. So.
Thank you, Corey. Does the board have any questions for Corey?
What part of the budget would that come out of, the additional?
Yes, this would be split between streets fund, water, and sewer. So we'll have to look at what the total cost is and how we're projecting in those line items. We may in the future need to come back for a budget amendment for this amount. I would also like to add, Corey didn't mention it, but that accident was of no fault of the driver. It's not the city's liability, so.
Is it city policy to buy new automatically always? Is that, or, I mean, is it abnormal to buy used, I guess is my question?
It's not abnormal. I would say most of the time, cities do get better rates buying new.
Okay.
But given the state of
The industry right
the
now?
the industry, it's very difficult for us to get new vehicles Last year, for instance, the state bid, normally the state will go out and do a bid for a work truck, and that is the price that any city then can piggyback. Because of how crazy things are right now, no dealership in the state responded back with a firm price. The state had 3 dealers, and it said contact for price. So it's been very difficult. Even if you order one, you may not get it. And then, of course, all seen in the news with the strike ongoing. Even if we were to get on a 2024 build cycle, not even sure it would get one.
Sure. Makes sense.
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing, a used vehicle from the public market, not to exceed a cost of $39,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of Public Works Department vehicle from the public market. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 23-30 regarding an ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code Schedule 1, Table 1A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri Code regarding school zones. Is that you again, Corey?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. This is just updating the school zone on, school zones, period. There are 2 that we've made changes for the updates. That is Southeast 12th Street. It was already a school zone, but in order for it to include all of 12th Street between school beacons, the flashers, and as you're aware, we replaced those, but we didn't actually relocate them. They were already in those same spots. So the previous ordinance did not include the change is for 120 feet east of Austin for it to start there. I believe it didn't start until Park on the older ordinance. And that'll take it all the way to Oak Ridge. So basically, it'll cover everything from beacon to beacon on 12th Street. And then Southeast 16th Street from Harding into the school entrance actually wasn't in the ordinance at all. So, but it was already, signed for a school zone. So we updated the signage and adding it to the ordinance.
Good job.
Pretty important, I would think.
This is an ordinance.
So just to make sure, so you're striking the old 12th Street and then replacing it with the new, because the way it was listed in the ordinance, just additions to the school zone section. I mean, I don't know if it matters, but.
I don't understand what you're asking. What?
So he's just asking if you're striking a line in the original
Gotcha.
ordinance.
Okay.
Matt's looking it up right now.
Gotcha, okay.
So let's wait, and
Yes.
then he'll respond.
Thank you.
Any other questions while we're waiting?
Thank you.
Thanks.
You guys are no fun.
Sorry, I'm a pain.
No? Good question.
Why do you gotta ask hard questions?
discussion.
Everybody sit here waiting on you.
It's okay. I like it when there's discussion.
Does anybody else remember the time when it was the school zone, but it was the exact same speed limit as the regular speed limit? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we fixed that.
Yes.
It's like, it's a school zone, but it's the same. Sorry.
So, no, so it shouldn't, there's not an issue. It is going, the first part, the southeast 12th Street will double up, but it already is going to include the new, which is 120 feet east of Austin all the way to Oak Ridge. So it'll be doubled up, but it'll include the same areas.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Good? We good? Okay.
I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill number 23-30.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of proposed ordinance, which is Bill number 23-30 by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code, Schedule 1, Table 1A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri City Code regarding school zones. An ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code, Schedule 1, Table 1A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri City Code regarding school zones.
Sorry. I move for adoption of Bill number 23-30.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill number 23-30 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Jim Shrout,
Yes.
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
Kelly Netto.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill number 23-30 becomes ordinance number 2089. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill number 23-31 regarding an ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code, Schedule 2, Table 2A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri Code regarding stop signs. Corey, you're up again.
Corey party tonight.
Get it all out there. This is just updating the stop sign placements or locations area-wide. You know, from new development and sign changes, things to that nature. It should be done regularly as new subdivisions go in and things to that nature. So that's all this really is. I don't know when the last time it was done. And in addition to updating that, placing a stop sign at an existing intersection of 19th and Harding, Southeast 19th and Southeast Harding, where it's currently a three-way intersection, but only 2 directions of travel stop. To make that a safer intersection, we would place an additional stop sign there, making it an all-way stop. And on that one additional stop sign, we will place orange flags on the top of it to bring awareness to it, and also place a stop ahead sign around the corner, which is actually 20th Street, if you're familiar with that location there, to also bring awareness that there's a sign coming, stop sign coming.
That's a good addition, thank you. Any questions for Corey about the stop signs?
Is this list of signs here, is this, do you have the new streets in there too, the new additions? Is this all the list in here,
That's in the packet.
in the packet?
That is all of them,
All of them?
yes. New and old.
New, that's, yeah, okay.
Is the 19th and Harding the only one that's really like existing roads where you've made like a significant change to traffic flow?
Yes, sir.
The rest are mostly just new construction?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I move for first and second reading by title only of Bill number 23-31.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of proposed ordinance, which is Bill number 23-31 by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code, Schedule 2, Table 2A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri City Code regarding stop signs. An ordinance amending Title III Traffic Code, Schedule 2, Table 2A of the City of Oak Grove, Missouri City Code regarding stop signs.
I move for adoption of Bill number 23-31.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of Bill number 23-31 for ordinance. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pam Pope,
Yes.
Jim Shrout,
Yes?
Jeremy Taylor,
Yes.
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
Kelly Neto.
Yes.
The motion is approved, and Bill number 23-31 becomes ordinance number 2090. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Matt, do you have one?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Chris? No, thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Mark?
On Wednesday, the 4th, at about 1:20 PM, there will be a test of the wireless emergency alerting system that Federal Emergency Management Agency manages. It's the system that sounds an alarm on your phone, similar to that used for Amber Alerts. This one will be a national message. It's just for test purposes only, and there's no action needed by the public, but they'll be testing that. It'll also, they'll also activate the emergency alert system, which puts out a message on all radio and TV stations. And that'll be simultaneous with that wireless emergency alert test. Wednesday is also the day at 11 a.m. for the outdoor warning siren test. However, the weather forecast is not looking real good. It's weather dependent, and it may be raining at that time, so it may or may not go on. But the wireless emergency alert test and the EAS test will go on.
Thank you, Mark. Chief?
Happy to report that we had no incidents associated to Lick Skillet this weekend. The loss of one stop sign at 15th and Austin, probably a large truck sometime during the 36 hours. But other than that, it went off perfectly well. And second, I want to announce that we'll do a blood drive again this year, scheduled for October 31st from 11 to 3 down here in the chamber. So there'll be more advertising on that as it gets closer, but just want to
Okay.
post it now.
Thanks. Thank you. Corey?
No reports, thank you.
Thank you. Kim?
No report.
Scott?
Next week was supposed to be the park board meeting. Since I'll be out of town, we're moving it to October 17th, so the following Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll be out of town for training, so that's the annual training time. Playground is expected any minute. We got confirmation that it's shipped and asked about how we were unloading, and so we've worked that out. I just don't have an exact date or time when it's coming, so it should be very soon. Park Volunteer Day is scheduled for this coming Saturday. We hope to have registrations by Wednesday, so I'm trying to get the word out. That's all I have.
Thank you, Scott. Rachel?
I just want to say thank you to the chamber for hosting Lick Skillet Days. It was awesome, and all the volunteers, like, I know you guys worked so hard on that, so it's much appreciated. I know the community loves it, and excited to see it grow and hopefully get better weather next year.
Yes.
It was hot.
So
Oh
hot.
my gosh,
Yeah.
it was hot. I want to second Rachel's sentiments there. Unfortunately, my family had prior commitments, so we didn't get to spend a lot of time at the fair, but we did come up when we could. It was really well put on, ton of work with the volunteers. I know how much work goes into it, so. And now, of course, there's already been complaining online, but please, if you worked the festival or had anything to do with planning it, just
Carry on.
Carry on.
carry on. It was wonderful. The kids enjoyed it.
No report.
Jim? Jeremy? Tracy?
No report.
Pam?
No report.
I too think that Lick Skillet was a great hit. Thank you for the chamber. I will report that the chamber's already notified me right after the event was over, and they'll be here next week to do a presentation to report about all the success, how well they did, and just a whole presentation for it. So we won't go on and on about it as much. We can tell them again how well they did. So that's all I have. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?